Hello everyone, this is TechBizmo and welcome back once again to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to apply or reapply your thermal compound on a desktop CPU. Let's get started. Okay guys, first things first is you want to take your grounding strap and obviously put it on your wrist. And then you just want to connect it to any ground terminal, whether it be, your case or, a power outlet or just anything that'll ground you from any static electricity. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and get started with the removal of the heatsink after I ground myself for safety of the computer. So for this particular heatsink, I actually have to remove the fan to gain access to the heatsink. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I just have to loosen these little clips on the side, and then the fan easily pops off, and I should be able to just, pop that fan off and just put it aside for now. So you can see how this heatsink works. Maybe you can't, but basically it's just got a bunch of pins. This is not a screw mount heatsink. This is unlike many other heatsinks where you push a pin down. It's sort of like the Intel stock heatsinks. But you can see here we've just got the little pins. But yeah, so what we're going to do, we're just going to squeeze the pins and pull them up. Actually, each pin actually comes in two pieces. So you can see we've got this piece, which actually goes into a piece of plastic that, widens the gap so that it holds the heatsink in place. So now go ahead and grab your other pin, if this is what you're doing it on. Of course, you may have a different heatsink, and it's very likely that you'll have a different heatsink. So this one actually is a little bit frustrating. It does take a little bit of persuasion to get off. All right, let's try to get this one off now. Alrighty, so we have all of the 4 push pins taken out of the heatsink. So now we should easily be able to, just lift these up slightly. So I'm able to just pull these up slightly and lift the heatsink up. See if I can get this one out. That would be lovely. There we go, guys. So you can see how we have our thermal compound application. This one actually, it could use a brand new application, so that's why we're here, I guess. So let's just set that heatsink aside. I'll actually show you guys how this mechanism works. So you can see we've got this little plastic insert here, and then this one goes into here, and it basically just pushes it down, and it widens the gap so that it grips the holes. So yeah, here we have our IHS, our integrated heat spreader. And this is what we are going to be cleaning and applying the new thermal compound to. So let's go ahead and grab our alcohol pad. So this is just a isopropyl alcohol pad that you can get at, CVS pharmacy or something. You can just use, a tissue with some regular rubbing alcohol. That would work just as well. But in my case, I'm just going to take this pre-applied, or this pre-soaked, I guess I could say, of alcohol pad. And I'm going to just wipe off the old thermal compound from my CPU, from the IHS. And many people might actually get confused because, I've seen a lot of people, for example, Carrie Holzman, who, use a screwdriver to spread thermal compound all over the IHS. And that's completely fine. Now, there are many people that will say, whoa, you're scratching the CPU. And that is not true. You are not scratching the CPU. And most of the time, you won't even be scratching the IHS. They're pretty durable. But either way, if you do scratch the IHS, that's the only thing that you're going to be scratching. You're not scratching the CPU itself. So that's just to clear up any confusion that you guys may have. So it looks like we did clean up that CPU pretty well. So I'm just going to take this paper towel to dry the IHS so that we can apply our new thermal compound. And you can see there was actually a little bit of thermal compound left on the IHS. So yes, about what I was saying earlier, even if you do scratch the IHS, you're not going to hurt your CPU, and that is because that's what the point of thermal compound is to fill in those gaps on the CPU. But anyways, let's just go ahead and get our thermal compound. In my case, I'm using Arctic Silver 5 thermal compound. And a lot of people just say, you know, apply a pea size or a rice size. I like to do just a little rice size and just get it right in the middle. With laptop CPUs, I actually like to spread it around. And actually, here's a cool little technique. If there's a string of thermal compound, you know, attaching from the CPU to your thermal compound tube, you want to just, rotate it in a circle until the string of thermal compound disconnects from your tube. So let's just go ahead, and that should be enough thermal compound in my case. As I said though, I like to spread around the thermal compound on laptop CPUs with the actual tube of thermal compound, just, you know, like this, just in a little circle or whatever. Yeah, that is for a future video, so I don't know, stay tuned for that. Now is to the part, I guess I could say the challenging part, which is applying your heatsink. So, of course, you're going to need to clean the bottom of the heatsink first. So, we're just going to grab our alcohol pad and clean that nicely. There you can see how well the alcohol removes the remnants of what once was thermal compound. Alright, very nice. Now we can go ahead and dry the heatsink. You just want to make sure there's also no, like, you know, paper towel, pieces left. You can see there's some paper towel dust flying around here. Anyways, so just go ahead and line up your heatsink. And for laptop heatsinks, it's actually a lot easier because, you know, they've got easy, kind of self-explanatory ways of mounting the heatsink. But how I like to do it, and how many people like to do it, is just to line it up, of course, with your mounting holes. What you want to do is you want to do it in a sort of crisscross pattern. So just go ahead and tighten your heatsink on one corner. In my case, I'm just going to grab the lovely push pin and push it into place, and that is in place very well. So now I'm going to take another push pin, and on the opposite corner, now with this heatsink, I am not particularly fond of the design because this one is always very stubborn when getting the heatsink installed. So, okay, there we go. And then we can get our little push pin. Push that down. And there we go. We have it installed in 2 places. So now we can take the last 2. Insert this one there. Mind you, the last 2 will probably be the easiest. Of course, if you are doing this on a, screw-mounted heatsink, then it'll be much easier any way that you're doing it. Push that down in there, and there we go. Heatsink is mounted 3 ways. You guys can see my workstation is not the tidiest on the inside. Hopefully I can make a future video out of showing you guys cable management when you're building computers. Alrighty, we are going to take the last push pin and insert it into the last hole. And as I expected, this is taking some persuasion. I actually have to reinsert this one. When you're actually doing it with these, quick mounted heatsinks, which, to be honest, I prefer screw mount heatsinks. But when you are doing it with these, the last one might actually be the hardest because, you're pushing a lot of pressure down on one area. And you have to actually push down on the mounting area. And there we go. There, my heatsink is installed. And now we can grab our lovely fan and install that as well. Well, there you go, guys. That's it. That is how to reapply or apply your thermal compound on a desktop CPU. So yeah, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching.